people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States, and 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected. Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf. Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy. As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired. Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
We have vital information we would like to share with you. The Department of Indian Works St. Paul partnered with the Minnesota Department of Health to open the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. They provide information on testing sites, isolation space, vaccines, housing assistance, and food resources. If you or someone you know has questions about COVID-19 or has questions to determine if you should get tested, please call them at 651-304-9986. Again, the number is 651-304-9986. The Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline is open for calls Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Call the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline at 651-304-9986. That's 651-304-9986.
AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Cloudy tonight and a low of 36. Then sunshine on Tuesday, but much cooler with a high of only 45. The Great Wall Restaurant has been providing an authentic taste of Chinese cuisine since 1981, specializing in Sichuan and Peking dishes. The Great Wall is located on the Minneapolis-Edina City line on France Avenue, just blocks north of 50th Street near 45th and Sunnyside. Check out their menu at greatwallrestaurant.us.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. That's my colonized name. My real name is Wakunjahade, which means distant thunder. We discuss national and Twin City Native news and events all over Turtle Island. And as you all know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
This portion of the show is brought to you by the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. You can call them at 651-304-9986. They're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can answer your COVID-19 questions, and they have lots of resources available.
So that's the new times.
New times on the weekend. Yeah, I guess they were getting a really good, outcome, and a lot of people were calling, so they extended their hours.
That's huge. And we had our test, and we had our final shot, and I was a little groggy.
Yeah, I was a little groggy too. Mild fatigue and headache, and that was it for the day after, and then that was it. I mean, I took some Tylenol and I felt fine.
I had a dull headache, and I slept all the way through at night, which I normally don't. So maybe I need another shot. No. Hey, so beautiful day here in the Twin Cities.
Yeah, really nice.
A little windy. I had to put some extra glue on my toupee today. It was a little windy out there, and so without further ado, why don't we get right to the news because I know it's a jam-packed news day. Welcome, Ogama, with the news.
Hi, Anim Buju, everybody. I'm Ogama Ganuikwe with you for Native Roots Radio. So the big thing I want to touch base on first, as always, I always start with Line 3 news. April 1st, frontline Indigenous youth and organizers from the Dakota Access and Line 3 pipeline fights are traveling to Washington, D.C. to demand that President Biden build back fossil-free by stopping climate-destroying projects. 5 years ago, on April 1st, the Sacred Stone Camp was founded, and the history was made when thousands of people came to stop the Dakota Access Pipeline. So we always keep that in our minds and our hearts, even though we're fighting a different pipeline over here again. Tomorrow at 6:30 until 8:30 is Salsa at Sunset. Tuesdays for the Water to Stop Line 3 at 101 2nd Street West in Park Rapids. That is an event by Honor the Earth. Come and dance, have a good time, sing and bring signs to stop Line 3. Wednesday at 10 a.m. until 12 p.m. is going to be a march to stop Line 3 in Duluth. That is a joint adventure with Twin Ports DSA Eco Socialists, Honor the Earth, and others, and they're going to be speaking out against Line 3 and specifically against Wells Fargo's ongoing funding of the project. They're gathering at Indian Station and then marching to Wells Fargo. They do ask that you please use the sidewalks and obey all traffic signs and spread out for social distancing. And then coming up here this week, I believe on the same evening on Wednesdays, the Stop Line 3 Caravan Tour. That is an event by MN350, Minnesota Interfaith Power and Light, and Honor the Earth. It is your standard caravan, so make sure you follow all traffic laws. Everybody is going to meet at the Manuman Protection Camp or Wild Rice Protection Camp near Bagley, and to just bear witness and disrupt business as usual with Enbridge. You're going to want to meet up at 11:30 a.m. at Manuman Camp to get signs and directions, and then at noon the caravan departs. 2 p.m. there'll be a gathering and a debrief, and 3 p.m. you're expected to depart for home. You can sign up for that event and get more caravan tips on the website for any of those places. Again, MN350, Minnesota Interfaith Power and Light, and Honor the Earth. Tomorrow at 6:30 to 8 p.m. is going to be the event regarding the youth who are bringing the petition to President Biden to stop Line 3 and the DAPL pipeline as well. They're going to be having a Zoom event online from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. and that is presented by, again, MN350 and the Sierra Club North Star chapter. It's going to be Indigenous youth from the front lines from both movements talking about their trip as they're on their way to Washington, D.C., and then other movement leaders, including Winona LaDuke and great-grandmother Mary Lyons, are going to join in. So you do have to RSVP for that one, so you make sure you go to mn350.org, check out the Sierra Club, or Honor the Earth for more information on how to RSVP to go to that Zoom meeting. I just want to touch base one more time on what I talked about on Friday. Robert and Wendy, you probably remember me talking about the Line 13 pipeline spill over in Wisconsin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. I saw something. The
Unbelievable.
Devil's Advocate radio show put something up about that too today.
Yeah, so what happened is that Line 13 had a spill. It's an Enbridge-owned pipeline in Wisconsin that actually starts in Manhattan, Illinois, and runs through Wisconsin and part of Minnesota. And it delivers oil to Enbridge's Edmonton terminal in Alberta, Canada. And what happened was that spill went unreported for over a year. The line transports 180,000 barrels per day of petroleum diluent, which is used to dilute heavy oils for easier transportation. The spill took place in Fort Atkinson. Oh, I cannot talk today. On Black Hawk Island Road near the River Rock and Lake Koshkonong. So a lot of people in Wisconsin who are just now finding out about that have expressed some serious outrage and distrust for Enbridge after this. And I can't say I
Came at a
disagree.
perfect time.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you too,
Unfortunately.
nobody knows what that chemical's made of because that's the chemical that goes in with the tar sands to make that thick peanut buttery oil, tar sand oil go through the pipe. And nobody knows what that's made out of. So that's even 10 times worse because what kind of lethal...
It's pretty scary.
Yeah, yeah.
It is. It's absolutely scary. Another thing that's scary that's in the news right now is there's several active fires happening in South Dakota right now. They have sent out the National Guard out of Rapid City. It looks like the Keystone fires actually caused the closure of Mount Rushmore's National Memorial, or the Six Grandfathers that they remodeled
Desecrated.
Mount
They
Rushmore to put it.
desecrated the Six Grandfathers mountain. Yeah, turned it
Yes,
into
exactly.
slave owners and Indian fighters.
Yes, exactly. And then one of the other fires has estimated to be has burned around 800 acres, and several hundred people have been evacuated, and they're expecting to evacuate a lot more people. FEMA has already approved an emergency request for help, and firefighters in that area have requested outside agencies and aircraft to monitor for hotspots. It's going to be another long, hot summer of fires, everybody.
Yeah. They talked to Winona earlier today, and she said it's drier than heck up there in the occupied north.
Yeah.
Yep,
I
there's
mean,
12 counties in Minnesota on burn advisories right
mhm.
now.
We got an update today on my weather channel thing here.
Yep.
It
Yep,
beat, yeah.
there's
So
also about two-thirds of the state right now too who are on a deer feeding and attraction ban to prevent the spread of chronic wasting disease. It's a fine of $300 if you're feeding the deer. People, don't feed the deer right now.
Wow. We'd have problems with that. It would be hard for us not to. Right, Wendy?
Well, you live in the city, so I
Right,
think it's
right. We
less.
got deer, though. We got deer. We live
You
close to
have
the river.
deer there, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I got pictures to prove it, right, Wendy?
hmm
Well, hey, Ogama, I really appreciate what you do and bringing this much needed, very rare news all together all over Turtle Island here in order to do what we have to do. So, hey, I guess you're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and we got the bumper music coming from the mother station right now. You're up next. We're gonna have Winona LaDuke. You're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and again, Peony Gigi Ogama for the news. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
that was weird. Hey, Ogama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States, and 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected. Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf. Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy. As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired. Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
We have vital information we would like to share with you. The Department of Indian Works St. Paul partnered with the Minnesota Department of Health to open the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. They provide information on testing sites, isolation space, vaccines, housing assistance, and food resources. If you or someone you know has questions about COVID-19 or has questions to determine if you should get tested, please call them at 651-304-9986. Again, the number is 651-304-9986. The Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline is open for calls Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Call the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline at 651-304-9986. That's 651-304-9986. Hey, welcome back to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade.
This portion of the show is brought to you by the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. You can call them at 651-304-9986, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
So I talked to Winona LaDuke earlier, probably about an hour before the show, and I can't keep up with that person. She is so busy. I was in a meeting with her this morning and just gave her a ring to see if she had any updates for the show, and she did and does.
Yep. So Winona LaDuke is the president and founder of Honor the Earth.
Yes.
Which is an organization fighting pipelines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honoring the earth.
Honoring the earth, as
Exactly.
its name says.
Because I think she's been around long enough because she was fighting the no nukes in the Black Hills in the late 80s, early 90s, with that whole thing, no nukes. And, she's still friends with all those artists, that did those concerts out there. And, she has board members like, what's the name of that group? The woman group that they just had.
The woman group that they just had.
I'll remember it. Why don't we take a take a
We'll listen.
I'll Google it real quick. Let's take a listen to Winona LaDuke with Honor the Earth. Wow, thanks Winona for stopping in. I know you are so busy. There's so many things going on and that you have to attend to up there in the occupied north. Thanks for stopping in.
Yeah, no, happy to. I'm actually this weekend we did a lot of maple syruping. Made a bunch of maple sugar and some candy, and that's the life up here, and it's a good life the Creator gave us. That's why we're fighting so hard to protect it. And then we're getting ready for some of our seeds and stuff. But it's an exciting time. Right now I'm actually driving over to. Sounds crazy. Driving over to see an Amish farmer. Because you know that I farm with horses. Well, let me put it this way. I'm working on farming with horses, and I do some stuff with them, but I want to do more. And so if you got a question about horse farming, who do you ask, right?
Right, exactly. So,
go see your Amish neighbor and say, hey, what's up? What's your cultivating equipment? So
exactly. So I know you plant some hemp up there. You plant other things in your garden. What else do you plant?
Yeah, I actually do mostly heritage corn, a Mandan variety. I think it's going to be a dry year again. I mean, it's dry as heck up here. They got fire warnings out. That's scary. Wow. And so I grow these heritage varieties and Lakota squash. They seem to like my farm quite a bit. And then big pumpkins and a lot of bean varieties, a lot of basil. And I've just got my new hemp pasta in. And so I'm working on the pesto and pasta combination, but I basically am interested in local food economies. And so I'm planting my seeds and got my plants started and looking forward to that. And I keep saying, I don't know, this is Enbridge thing, what a crazy idea. I said, those guys, they can try to grow their food with oil, but I'm going to stick to water,
Exactly. Well, and another thing, what is going on? Are they going to be pretending that they're going to be taking a break off here for a month?
Yeah,
or?
I mean, they did send back a bunch of people, and they should just leave them up there. And they have, they are doing some operations as we've figured out. I thought that I'd keep them at their word too. They just can't move some heavy equipment around, but if they're on site making a mess. And they just got road restrictions. And so they're slowed down for some of the major pipeline work, but for the infrastructure work and substations, they're full on trying to get that done. And that's why some of those water protectors at Ginu and others got arrested, because they're still continuing on. And but they took the court last week, was really asking Enbridge some hard questions, like, listen, Public Utilities Commission, who came up with the data on the projected demand? And they said, well, Enbridge did. And then they said, well, where did that come from? And they said, where Enbridge's projected demand based on what they project it's going to be it was in 2016, and that was 5 years ago. And
Right.
you should just never let your dealer tell you what you need. If you're an addict, don't let the dealer tell you what the demand is.
Exactly.
You need to use some. You need to look at the real demand by people, not by oil refineries as projected in 2016. So they're trying to get everything in now in case the court rules against them. They're going to try to do as much as they can. And in the meantime, we're going to stay vigilant up here. And we asking people, take a ride to the beautiful north.
Mm-hmm.
We have maps provided on the welcome water protectors. Go see, take a look at what they're doing to the north. Be present. Be here, get familiar, and then keep coming up. But because we got to keep an eye on our rivers. Because they will try to cross them. And we will need to be there.
Winona, you've asked a question, and I've been up there a few times and wondered the same thing. Who's watching them? Who's watching Enbridge? Who's going to arrest Enbridge if they do something wrong? That's the $1 million question, isn't it?
Yeah, that's $1 million question. Question is, who is watching the criminal? Because I'm not a criminal.
Right.
Who's watching the criminal oil company? That's a good question. And, they got a lot of police watching us and engaging in a lot of activities, and who's making sure that their security people are, most of the people out there, there's a lot of security people out there guarding a lot of pipes.
Right.
And, I was visiting with one of those young fellows, because I have a right to know it's on public land. So I just asked him, he said, "Oh, I'm guarding the pipes." And I was thinking, well, who's going to steal the pipes? I was like, good, $25 an hour. You sit there, buddy. Have another coffee.
Right.
Watch them. It's just so tragic what's happened to the north. But, just remember, sugar is good. And to keep the sugar, you got to take care of Mother Earth.
Exactly.
It is a good life the Creator gave us, and I'm getting ready to plant my seeds, and a lot of us are, because it looks to be an early spring. And in the meantime, we'll keep preparing for that, and then we'll face them when they come back in big, large numbers.
That's right. We're going to make a big call to action very soon here. And I know you're really busy right now, and I really, really, really appreciate this check-in, Winona.
Yeah, and Robert, the other thing I want to talk about, but not today, at some point, let's talk about soon about that Mille Lacs case. Because, I was really proud that the state of Minnesota came in on the side of the band.
Right.
The Mille Lacs band. And I want to thank the Attorney General for doing that, because it's the right thing to do, because in fact the state has engaged with the band inside of that territory for many years, as has the federal government. They have a number of contracts that have been designated specifically within the original borders of the reservation. So thanks to the state. I don't know if we've talked about that, but I don't just think about pipelines. I know this one, the state is stepping up a little bit the way they should, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, that's good to bring that up too, because we really need our allies, and we need our allies in all facets of what we're doing.
Yeah, we need just people to do the right thing. Now would be the time.
Exactly. Well, Peeny Gigi Winona for stopping in and checking in and giving us
we'll talk to you later.
All right. Hi, Joanie. We'll talk to you soon. Well, Wendy, there was Winona LaDuke, busy as ever, flying around in her car.
Yeah. I loved her analogy about not letting your dealer decide on how much you need. Not that I know anything about that, but I really, like that. Like Enbridge is kind of telling everybody what they need, what the need is, and they should not be deciding that.
Wendy, we should talk more. We got like a minute left here, or 2 minutes left. We should talk a little bit more too about, how bad of a neighbor this foreign company is. We have to remember, this is a foreign company that took a year to tell on themselves that they had a major spill in Wisconsin.
That's really
the
awful.
proof's in the pudding right there, isn't it?
And they let it go and they did nothing about it. So it's way worse than it could have been if Enbridge stood up and cleaned it up right away. So yeah, there's lots of damage. I would like to hear like an update about what the damage and what's going on. Go ahead, Emma.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could try to look up some more information on that, you guys, too, and give you another update tomorrow. But I completely have to agree with the people in Wisconsin. How can you trust a company like that when they come in and say this is perfectly safe, but then there's a spill and they just simply don't report it? I mean, I don't understand how they're being continually allowed to get away with this all throughout the Midwest. I mean, that pipeline is in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Illinois. Enbridge also has pipelines in part of North Dakota and in Michigan. I mean, that's 5 states. The whole upper Midwest is now occupied by Enbridge, a foreign company, to pump their oil for their communities.
Well, maybe Minnesota could learn from this mistake, but it doesn't seem like people really learn from past mistakes and what happens. Whether it's the pipeline or coronavirus, it just doesn't seem like people, like you have to knock them over the head with this information.
Exactly. Hey, up next, Dr. Antony Stately. You're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and we'll be right back after this short break.
Stay with us.
Hey, Wendy, what are we doing for dinner after the show?
How about we go to J. Selby's on 169 Victoria Street in St. Paul? They have a delicious plant-based menu that's compassionate and environmentally sustainable.
I'm getting their spot-on vegan Big Mac, the dirty secret.
You can pick up and they deliver within a 5-mile radius, or you can call them at 651-222-3263 or visit jselbys.com.
Well, you sold me, Wen. Let's go order at J. Selby's tonight.
I'm hungry.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950, here to tell you about Snap Construction. They're experts in roofing, siding, window, and insurance restoration. They have energy-efficient products available for both residential and commercial properties. This spring, when we needed a company to take a look at a problem with our roof, I called the company I knew I could trust, Snap Construction. I've known Ryan, the owner at Snap Construction, for years, so I knew I could trust him. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their reviews online. They are arguably the most well-reviewed exterior contractor online in the metro area. Over the years, Ryan has always said the same thing to me about his work. If we build it, shouldn't we be held accountable for the work indefinitely? He backed that statement up years ago when Snap Construction was a pioneer in offering a lifetime craftsmanship guarantee on all their work. For a free estimate or general questions, call the locally owned company AM 950 Trust, Snap Construction at 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP, or find them online at snapconstruction.com. They have financing options available.
We have vital information we would like to share with you. The Department of Indian Works St. Paul partnered with the Minnesota Department of Health to open the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. They provide information on testing sites, isolation space, vaccines, housing assistance, and food resources. If you or someone you know has questions about COVID-19 or has questions to determine if you should get tested, please call them at 651-304-9986. Again, the number is 651-304-9986. The Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline is open for calls Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Call the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline at 651-304-9986. That's 651-304-9986.
When you're trying to stay safe, you want the best protection possible. And when it comes to PPE, that means Lutema. Made in the USA with the highest quality materials, Lutema has mask sizes for all. Lutema masks pass ASTM Level 3 and NIOSH efficiency standards and come in a wide variety of colors and types, including M95i. Get your American-made face mask at Lutema.com. That's Lutema.com. And get 40% off your first purchase single item with promo code RADIO at Lutema.com.
If you're hurting in your relationship or have been affected by sexual violence, you're not alone. Strong Hearts Native Helpline can help you through these difficult and uncertain times. Strong Hearts Helpline is a free 24/7 confidential domestic dating and sexual violence helpline for Native Americans. Help is available by calling 1-844-762-8483 or by clicking on the Chat Now icon on strongheartshelpline.org. This message is sponsored by the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center.
AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Cloudy tonight and a low of 36. And sunshine on Tuesday, but much cooler with a high of only 45.
Fire up Minnesota with a smoking hot deal on a new gas, charcoal, or pellet grill from Warner Stellian. You still get free assembly, free delivery, and 18 months no-interest financing. Get your new grill from the specialists, Minnesota's own Warner Stellian.
Hi, Minnesota. This is Tom Hartman. Join me every weekday from 11 to 2 for in-depth analysis of what's happening in politics today on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
We are the Calusa Nation. Hey, welcome back to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakunjade.
This portion of the show is brought to you by MN350, a grassroots organization fighting for climate justice, and also the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Yeah, good one. What a great organizations.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. Hey, so we're waiting for Dr. Stately. I'm talking to him on Messenger, and he seems to be jumping into an old meeting, and we're going to try and figure that out. But hey, why don't we just have a quick round robin about how we survived an Ogama jump in too with our second shot. So Ogama, you got yours a week before we did, and you being younger, it seemed like it really affected you more than it affected Wendy and I.
Yeah, definitely. I was pretty sore about 12 hours after I got the shot. A lot of soreness and chills set in, and then that lasted about 12 to 24 hours before it was really gone. And after that, I felt fine. So it was definitely worth it. But I think you guys had just a little bit less of a reaction than I did.
Yeah, I just had mild fatigue, really. I was really tired. I slept for like 12 hours straight. I went to bed at midnight and I slept till 12 noon the next morning.
Yeah, well, it was hard for me to realize if I was just being old or if it was really really affecting me, affecting me as a
You're just
patient.
Old.
Yeah, because
well,
like I had that dull neck headache,
yeah.
but I've had that before where I've been that way after I woke up on my pillow crooked. So it was hard for me. It was hard for me to know if that was a symptom. I did sleep all the way through. I didn't get up and go to the bathroom like I do 4 or 5 times.
God.
Yeah.
TMI.
Hey, well, we got Dr. Stately here just in time before I start giving away where the silver is buried in the backyard. So welcome, Dr. Stately. How's it going? Thank you so much for being with us.
Sorry, I've been having technical challenges all day long, actually. So
sometimes you just have those days. The universe and the electricity and the waves,
Yeah. I'm blaming it on the wind. I think it's the wind. The wind.
Could be the wind. I suppose it could be.
It was hot today. We did our 5-mile walk today, and I'm like sweating for the first time since I don't know, last August.
Yeah, probably since they said on the news it was the hottest. It hasn't been 71 in 6 months, 5 or 6 months. So we should all be really happy.
Speaking of happy, Wendy and I were talking just a little bit about our last vaccination and just the little bit. And doctor, if you just don't move around too much, we can really hear that over the air. If you don't, yeah, thank you. And perfect. All right. Whoop, there it is again. And how we did really only had like one day of really kind of feeling a little off. Oh,
yeah. So only one day of really serious symptoms, or like not even serious symptoms, like maybe discomfort.
like not even
Discomfort.
hardly discomfort, maybe a little discomfort. My arm hurt from the injection site. That night we felt fine. The next day, I mean, I felt tired and I had a headache, but I took some Tylenol, but I also walked 4 miles. So I didn't really, I was kind of disappointed. I wanted at least some fever and chills.
You're really hoping you could have a horrible story to share with everybody.
I just wanted to say, wow, my immune system is really kicking in and it's really beat things butt. That's what I wanted.
And it was playing hopscotch with it.
Yeah, it was playing
Well,
hopscotch.
if you felt really bad, somebody might have brought you a pot of soup or something. So, there's benefits for sure. Well, I think what that tells us is that everybody has a little bit of a different reaction. Like I think I've mentioned a couple of other times before on the show. And there is actually no, Dr. Fauci is fond of saying this on his radio show or his TV show when he's on Face the Nation. I watched him this weekend on Face the Nation, and he reminds us that everybody has a little bit of a different response to this vaccine in terms of their own immune system, and no reaction or a mild reaction does not necessarily mean that you aren't protected, and it doesn't mean that it's not working. It means that your immune system is a little bit different than your neighbors, or if you didn't end up kittywampus on the bed like Robert did, it didn't mean that it didn't work. It meant that he had a different reaction.
Yeah.
And we have a new gas fireplace, and I thought I was getting a fever. I was really excited, but Wendy had the fireplace on, and I was like, wow, it's warm. We got the fireplace on. She said our little dog's cold, so I guess I wasn't having a fever either.
No.
Yeah. I know that lots of people are really excited to know that the state has, the feds and also the state has opened up eligibility to everybody 16 and above, right? And I know that there's a lot of high schoolers out there that are probably really excited about, getting their vaccine and, getting back to, whatever it is, sport they play or whatever other things they do, basketball, baseball, but it will really also the availability of you being able to get a shot at 16 and above will be related to whether or not you can get your access to a Pfizer vaccine, because that is right now the only one that has been FDA approved to be used with minors 16 and above.
Oh.
So that'll be a little bit of a challenge, but I would hope that they are working rapidly to try to expand access for young adults to all of the vaccines as rapidly as they possibly can.
That's really exciting news, because I miss our I teach at St. Paul Public School, and we have powwows once a month, and I mean, I just miss seeing the former students, the new students, and so that's some news.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's great news. We are, as Fauci is fond of saying, we are not out of the woods yet, and he goes, we still got a lot of work to do, but we're in a good place. I think if we continue to socially distance and practice all of those other safety measures and encourage people to get vaccinated as much as we possibly can, try to help folks. If we ourselves have been vaccinated, we haven't had a bad reaction, and we've had a story that we're willing to tell our relatives or somebody in our family or someone in our community about, I encourage us all to do that, because we are seeing across the state, we are seeing a slowing down of the uptake of the vaccine in tribal communities. So we've done a really great job. We kept pace with a lot of other folks, big health systems and stuff in the early sort of rollout of the vaccine. But as we reach a critical mass of getting folks vaccinated in the sort of the 65 and above category, and some maybe even the 55 and above category, we're seeing young adults and middle-aged adults. So, the 30 to 45-year-olds not really all that excited about taking the vaccine. And that's something we really have to try to have targeted conversations with our relatives about. The best way for us to reach herd immunity is for the majority of us across the spectrum of all ages to get the vaccine as rapidly as we can. It's the fastest way that we're going to get to herd immunity, which means that we're going to be able to get to things like returning to ceremony, returning to wachipi and powwow, spending social time together, all of those things. And so I really want to encourage folks to talk with your relatives about your experience if you've had that, and to encourage them.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard too. And and one of the things that I've noticed in the last week or so, Doctor, is that Navajo Nation, which was unbelievably brutally taken over by this virus, is
Yes.
basically down to zero now.
Yeah, they've had no cases. Yeah, no new cases. And I think they went several days with no deaths. So that's remarkable, right? That's some evidence to suggest that this is going to really help us turn the corner in our tribal communities if we can get people to feel confident and trust the vaccine and know that it's going to work, right? And I can appreciate it. I can appreciate people being anxious and ambivalent about wanting to take it. Being scared that they're going to not feel well the next day or for a few days, being worried that they're not going to be able to go to work if they have a family that depends on them to be able to go to work. And now we have a number of vaccines that will, not require you to take more than one day off if you have to do it. And, when I tell my family members that will, ask me my opinion and talk with me about my thoughts about it, I tell them, being feeling uncomfortable or a little unwell for a day or two is a lot better than being unwell for a really long period of time. And I experienced COVID. I was in the hospital. It was not fun. And it was a long recovery, right? I had weeks and weeks where I was just so weak I could barely do normal activities. Brushing my teeth and climbing up the stairs was hard. So,
well, we have relatives out east that are still suffering from it.
Yeah, they're long hauling. One is using an inhaler, having shortness of breath, having fatigue. Another one is having a lot of peripheral neuropathy symptoms, and swelling in the ankles and black and blue marks in the ankles. So the doctor is attributing it to COVID, and one also has inflammation of the lungs. So. Since Christmas. So
it's hard. Hey, before we let you go, Doctor, I want to congratulate your sons on your hockey prowess. If you want to just tell everyone real quick before we get going here what they did.
Yeah, well, my sons and their team placed first in the district and district playoffs. So District 6 playoffs, they took the championship on yesterday afternoon. So that was a really proud moment for me as a dad. Really proud.
Yeah, we're proud too. So thank you, Peeny Gigi, for stopping in as you do. It's our pleasure, and we're so excited to have you stopping with us each week.
Thank you so much. Hey, if I can make a real quick plug, NACC is still looking to hire a vaccine program coordinator. We are looking, and the job description is on our website and our Facebook page. If you or anyone you know has a healthcare background, is interested in helping us expand our vaccine program, please respond to that request for employment. And we would be happy to entertain application from any qualified candidate in your listenership. So.
Perfect. We'll bring that up more and more and stay in touch until you have that filled.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You guys be well. Take care.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy, but with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigi, and thank you for your support.
We are your relatives,
We are your relations,
brothers,
sisters,
sons.
daughters.
And some of us are your grandchildren.
We are your community. Historically, we held places of honor and respect. Because of the impact of colonization, some of us are rejected, thrown out from family, friends, and community, set up as targets for sexual violence, sex trafficked, humiliated, tortured, and murdered. Everybody has the right to be safe. We are your relatives. Remember,
Homophobia is not traditional.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
How good are Toyota Siennas from Rudy Luther Toyota? Not only have they been a savior when it comes to getting my family around, I've enjoyed them so much I'll own one as long as I'm driving. The all-new 2021 Sienna features an all-hybrid powertrain to go along with the Toyota Safety Sense Sienna provides, plus an amazing comfort, which makes even long road trips a breeze. And you can upgrade to Wi-Fi, Remote Connect, and Apple CarPlay. Fall in love yourself by test driving a Toyota Sienna today at Rudy Luther Toyota, 5 miles west of Minneapolis on 394.
Hey, Ogama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Annie, I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
We are the Alusa Nation.
Hey, welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanjahade.
And this portion of the show is brought to you by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations.
It's just you and me.
Oh,
that's right. Ogama's on.
She's back. I didn't see her.
Right. She's on the clean feed. So
exactly.
That's awesome. Yeah. That was awesome. Good job.
That is funny.
Hey, so Wendy, talk to me.
Quickly. Yeah. I got
No, not quickly.
Oh, okay.
Take your time.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Today.
My name is Hanajihihani, and that means cares for them. And I was given that name by my Dega Curtis. So as always, Curtis, thank you for that name. I am a humane policy volunteer leader for the Humane Society of the United States, and I work on animal issues at the local and state level. I have like 4 things to talk about, but I'm only going to have time for 2. I need like an hour, Robert. I seriously need an hour.
You're going to have your own show. I'm going to produce it and make money off you.
Well, one of the stories I have is not very good news. On Facebook, I'm friends with this wildlife rehabilitation center. It's called Wild Woods Wildlife Rehab Center, and they're located right in Duluth, Minnesota. And just yesterday, one of their volunteers found a eagle on the side of the road right near 2 harbors. And the eagle was unable to lift its head, was unable to walk or fly. So the volunteer brought the eagle back to the Wild Woods Rehabilitation Center, and they checked out the eagle, and nothing was broken. Nothing was visibly wrong with the eagle, so they brought it to the Raptor Center, and the Raptor Center can further evaluate the eagle. And unfortunately, what happened is the eagle had high levels of lead and was lead poisoning. Now, since the levels were so high, and even with small amounts of lead, it's really unlikely that they'll be able to help this eagle. So the eagle is literally like starving and dehydrated, and they had to unfortunately put the eagle to sleep. And what's really bad now is because it's baby eagle season, and it's this eagle's mate and the chicks are going to really miss out on having this, male eagle around. So what do I really want to say about this? Stop using lead ammunition. There's so many alternatives, and we really need to save our wildlife, our water, our land. There's a reason why they took lead out of paint and car gasoline and took it out of all these other things, because it's poisonous, right? It's poisonous. And we really need to ban lead bullets, except the NRA keeps not letting that happen because they're afraid that if anything at all gets deterred about hunting, then what will be next, and what will be the next thing, and what will be the next thing. So anytime we bring up, let's ban lead shot, it always gets stuck, because of the NRA and that kind of thing. So anyway, I'm really sad about this eagle.
Are there lead sinkers still?
Yes,
with fishing?
absolutely. Yes, there is lead sinkers. Yes, there are lead sinkers. There's thousands of them on the bottom of lakes, and again, things get poisoned from lead sinkers.
Just as we saw that documentary on Netflix,
Yes,
Big Fish.
Seaspiracy. If you get a chance to watch it on Netflix, it's called Seaspiracy.
Little fish eat big fish, and big fish eat bigger fish, and we eat the big fish, and
I don't eat the fish.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly. It's really something else.
Right.
Do I have time to bring up another thing? So anyway, if you want to donate, I don't have to. I could save it for tomorrow. If you want to donate to the Wild Woods, it's a 501c3 rehabilitation center. It's located in Duluth, Minnesota. And if you ever have any wild animal issues, or you need them to pick up a wild animal, they will come, and you can call them. I have their phone number here, 218-491-3604.
Yeah, and we have a local one in Roseville here
Yep.
where we've brought
baby squirrels.
more than that,
Yeah.
and they take birds too,
Mhm.
and things happen, and I just I'm always happy because we live a couple blocks from the Mississippi River, and I'm always happy to see those 4 eagles that are in that one nest and make sure everything's still good.
Yeah.
Even though every once in a while they might pick up a squirrel in front of us, and I get a little trauma.
How sad and brokenhearted would we be if they were,
Yeah.
poisoned by lead? And it's
wouldn't
such an
see 'em.
easy thing to get rid of.
Right. So what do we do? Do we? What's the call to action? I always want to look at solutions.
If you know anybody who's a hunter, ask them not to use lead bullets.
What about regulation? What about talking to our senators?
Yes,
and what
we
about,
absolutely can. We brought that up for 4 years in a row. This is the first year we didn't bring that up at the legislature. We had other bills to bring forth.
Mhm.
We only have time to bring like 3 or 4 at the most
Mhm.
forward, and we didn't have time. We talked about the lead shot literally for 4 or 5 years, and it never went anywhere. It just got stuck. It got stuck. It got stuck. So what do? Do you keep trying? Yes. But there's other bills that need to come forward also.
That makes me want to start a
So-
nonprofit organization, especially with Bullets and Eagles or something like that.
Yep.
I think you can help me with that.
I could absolutely help you. So the
And then
hunter kills the deer. The deer may die right there. A lot of hunters will gut the deer there, and they're called gut piles, which have shrapnel or lead shrapnel in the gut pile that they leave, and then they take the deer away, and all the other animals eat the gut pile, including eagles, including other animals, other birds of prey. And everybody, even a very small amount of lead is detrimental to these animals. Detrimental.
That just makes me want to really start.
I know.
Especially if HSUS couldn't or wasn't putting it up to the Capitol.
Believe me, we've tried.
Yeah.
And we will try again. We have, strategically, and maybe now that the NRA, didn't they go bankrupt or something? Or they
for a
lost a
while.
lot of stuff, but, absolutely. But I think the best thing that you could do is if you know a hunter, if you have a hunter in your family, just ask them. We're not saying don't hunt. We're just saying don't use lead bullets.
Right.
Because it kills so many other things. It kills non-target animals.
Yeah, I think I'm
No
gonna
matter
start.
where you are in the United States.
I believe I'm
not
going to
just
start a
here in Minnesota.
nonprofit. I really,
Okay.
and specifically about eagles and
Eagles.
lead bullets
Mhm.
and lead.
And have it like a Native American centric
Yeah.
nonprofit. Absolutely. I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
We'll get it set up. We'll get donations, and I'll be at the Capitol lobbying for it.
Me too, and also I'll get T-shirts made.
Get T-shirts made.
I want to get T-shirts made and sell them.
We'll start our own. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Mhm.
That's a really good idea. Oh, go ahead, Ogamot.
Yeah, it's not just eagles that lead kills too. Lead sinkers kill loons.
Mhm.
They're this on the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency website, and they do have a Get the Lead Out non-toxic tackle campaign. So loons, swans, and other waterfowl are really in danger right now, and are about 20% of loons turned in that were dead from private citizens have been lead poisoned as well. Just dead people. So get the lead out of your bullets, get the lead out of your sinkers, turn them into your local hazardous waste place, and do something easy to help the environment.
Absolutely. Peony Gigi, I would like to end with these thoughts. If you're listening to the show, you are part of the resistance. We need to resist, divest, join a group, run for office. I want to thank Dr. Stately, Winona LaDuke, Wendy Pilot, and Okama. If you're listening to this show, you are part of the resistance. We're still here. We are the seventh generation.
Stop line 3.
Free Leonard Peltier.
In the Army National Guard, family means everything.
They really appreciate what she's done as a sister.